Hello, football family. Welcome to another episode of Ball Chat Podcast Finale. I am one of your hosts, a part of the Ball Chat family. My name is Benton, and first and foremost, I want to apologize to all of the PSG fans. I want to apologize for starting late. We were crying, some of us PSG fans here. Come on, Junior, part of the Ball Chat family. How you guys doing? Come on, you're not hearing me, Junior. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Junior, walk one.
I am good enough. I enjoyed the final. I'm feeling good about the final. So it's a good way to close the season today.
A good way to close the season. Football Lovers Ball Chat Podcast is all about reviewing the week's major news in the world of football, aka soccer. As we always do it, we always foster a live and interactive discussion around the sport. So today we have a special guest joining us. We'll get to the Champions League final in the middle of the show, but we have a special guest joining us at the top end of the show. The man from Claremont, St. Anne, founder, CEO of Valeo FC. Valeo FC is one of the major players in youth development, one of the big players in youth development. Emelio Williams, former St. Diego student and now president of Valeo FC. How are you doing, boss?
I'm excellent, thank you. How are you doing?
Yeah, we're doing well. Thank you for taking the time. Football lovers, we're going to talk to Emelio. We're going to discuss with Emelio some of the work that they're doing with youth development, both in Jamaica and here in the States. We're going to get his thoughts on the landscape of football in the Caribbean. At the top end of the show, in the middle of the show, we'll discuss our ballas and bugs, highlighting the players that we thought were impressive. We'll get to discuss a Champions League final. We want to break down the Champions League and big takeaway. In the middle part of the show, we'll talk about World Cup qualifier schedule being released by CONCACAF. CONCACAF World Cup qualifier schedule being released, and we'll talk about Jamaica's chances. Early days yet. And at the back end of the show, we'll discuss Yawd ballas, highlighting Jamaican players overseas. So Bayern Munich fans, hold your horses. PSG fans, go on wiping the tears. We'll discuss the final in a little bit. If you're following us on Ball Chat Podcast YouTube page, Ball Chat Facebook page, or Flow Sports YouTube page, you can join the show and take part as usual. So Emelio, let's discuss a few things with Valeo FC. And I said it's one of the big players in terms of youth development. Am I accurate in that assessment?
It depends on who you ask. Big is relative. But we're for a small outfit, we do and have produced some pretty good footballers that have got on to play professional football, and both in the U.S. and in Europe, and a boatload of collegiate players, hundreds. So we try to. Big is relative.
Big is relative. So for you guys at Valeo FC, essentially the focus is all about youth development. Am I correct? And what age group do you guys start from if it's all about youth development? And essentially at what age group do they exit you guys program?
Well, we view it as a full life cycle development. Our program started around 5 years old. It's introductory. Make sure you're balanced and coordinated, and it's age appropriate. And generally for the club program, players exit at 18. That's usually when they're off to college. But what happens is after you've graduated and you've moved to college, you're always chasing what's the next great thing. So if you're a collegiate player, you're trying to make the jump to the MLS. So the players either come back. They're always training at our facility, or they're actually coaching. So I'm not sure if there's an exit, because we try to support our players throughout their whole lifetime.
Okay, not sure if the come on, and Junior, let's try to have a discussion. If you have questions or comments for Emelio Williams from Valeo FC, send them on. We'll discuss. We'll get submit some of those questions to him. Come on, Arjuna, do you have any questions for Emelio?
Yeah, Mr. Williams, I know at the launch of the Casafa and Valeo Football Academy, what I got from the article was that you're saying that Jamaica lacks the system that can properly develop players and coaches. I know for now, the JFF, they have coaching certification courses, and they're also trying to get coaches to go out there and actually get hands-on experience. You're saying that the system lacks the way in which to properly develop them. What would you suggest that the JFF, come up with, or CASAFA come up with to fix that? Because I think I see what you're mean. We've seen it in coaching, and then we wonder sometimes how some of these coaches are actually certified to lead the next generation. So what ideas would you bring forth to assist and to fix what we're lacking?
Well, I think it's twofold, right? I think like coaching, like teaching, is a craft, and it's different than playing. Teaching is how best do you transfer learning, and it incorporates several different disciplines, whether it's child psychology, human performance, just spatial intelligence. When I say we lack the infrastructure is when we look at what UEFA does, or look at even what the US does in terms of how they teach coaches and what the actual courses are. So what I've noticed is recently, I think they've established a coaching school, but I think just being in the US, I think the US has rewritten its coaching curriculum, at least, I want to say 4 times in the past 12 years. And, that is what it either says that you don't know what you're doing, or 2, you're after something and you're brave enough to redefine yourselves. The difference is what I've noticed between, say, US or Europe or anything that Jamaica does is the amount of time that is required. It's not a certificate that you get a license, which is different. You may get a certificate at the lower ends, like the grassroots, but when you start to get into D and C and whatever, it's an actual license, where there's a minimum amount of hours that you have to put into your craft to get that license. So, I think the D is 36 hours minimum, and that includes instructor-led, as well as classroom, as well as on-field. The C, I think you have to go away for a week. The B is the same. The B is over 18 months before you get your B license. Same thing in UEFA. So what that says is, you could have a certificate, but a certificate is only worth as much as the paper it's printed on. It's what is the actual content of the courses, and how are you actually teaching the teachers off the game. So I don't think we have that infrastructure set up in Jamaica. I've gathered there's a new coaching school. I have yet to see what it looks like. So I've only dealt with what they do in UEFA and what they do here in the US. And the US, we may not say it, but we model a lot of things off of what UEFA does.
Right.
So I would suggest is to just look at what UEFA does, right? You don't have to recreate the wheel. The knowledge of the universe is already out there. You just have to go and put it together and rebrand it. Look at what the US does. That's what everyone else is. That's what everyone does. You look at what the mousetraps are out there, and you build a better one, or build one that is suitable to your audience. When it comes to coaching, sorry, go ahead.
No, go on. I thought you finished.
But there's millions of coaches and sessions online, and curriculums and methodologies. If you want to see how Belgium made the transition from being nobody to coming third in the world, you could, all the information is out there. Yeah.
Okay. So then I see where you guys have a focus on players. The ages, it says between 8 and 16. But your main focus will be on the 13 to 15 age group. How do you identify those players? How are they funneled to your program, to CASAFA? Do they just have to play in the CASAFA competition? Can someone say, Mr. Williams, we have this player that we saw him playing at a tournament. How do you funnel players so you can get them, so you can, help them to go on?
Well, the funneling, we asked the club, the academies in the club to make recommendations. Some of the players just call up and say, I'd like to come, and, we make it open where you can actually come. So, it's pretty much an open door, where any coach can make recommendations like, sure, come on down, and, because we're not trying to filter kids, to like pick an all-star team or anything like that. We're just providing a service where you're going to get the technical training, spatial intelligence training, whatever it is, if you want it, if you're an ambitious young player. So it's pretty much open, but oftentimes the coaches are gatekeepers where they make the recommendation.
Okay, so is there a scholarship program? Or should I ask, is it free? Because you know this, and this is really honest, that the poorest kids are oftentimes the best footballers, right? So with the U.S., it's more like pay to play. And if you go to a Brazil, like so many players, you hear the stories of Ronaldo that, that says, and Jesus that says, oh, I was discovered while kicking the ball on the ground. So for your program and for other people that might be listening, is it free? Is there like a scholarship situation where if it's not free and there's a really, really good player that I see, but I know his parents can't afford it, I mean, what accommodations can be made for a player like that?
So one, it's free, right? We wrote that check early on. It's just recently in the last 2-3 weeks, we've added some more elite training that you could, so the base program is free, and you could just show up on a Saturday and, we'll give you a jersey and you could come and train. The only payment is that you're disciplined and that you're going to be committed. Because there's plenty of people that, kids and adults that would want to just try a program and then be frivolous or flippant about it. The one thing that I require is that you are committed. So, but it's free. We recently added, because we're doing specialized training now, if you want specialized training, you can pay a small fee. I forgot what it is. And, it's like midfield specific or striker training or things of that nature. And it's, taught by, we have Fabian Davis, fabulous, who's one of the coaches. So it's like a hybrid model now. So, but for the past 2 years, it's been completely free. Now we've decided to add, if people want extra, they could pay a little bit extra. And any kid cannot play, cannot pay. Finances is never a reason not to participate. So, we are always looking for ways. Because even here in Boston and the Northeast, we started in the inner city. So we're going to support kids. The whole premise of how the club started was to provide opportunity and access to kids that were disadvantaged. So, but with that being said, there are some costs that we, most of 99% we bear, but we also know that if parents or kids pay, even if it's $1, then they're more invested as opposed to taking something for granted.
Yeah, it's free. Yeah, I mean that's fair. My last question, because then I always hug the question, so do not get it. You were talking about getting turf fields, right? What is going on with that? Because I agree with you 100%. There's no reason, absolutely none, that every community, every corner is not equipped with a turf field in Jamaica. We have the land. And it can be done. So I saw where you had the vision of getting more turf fields. Can you talk a little bit about that? What is going on with that? I know that COVID kind of knocked things off track for something, But can you talk a little bit about getting more turf fields for players to have access to?
Yeah, so, field is infrastructure. And, we might look and watch Barcelona or Bayern play and, marvel at the pace of the game, but the reality of it is, not that we're going to make excuses, but they don't worry about the pitch. It's a true surface. And it was one of the things that I noticed early on, even when we brought coaches from Portugal and Spain, the fields that people in Jamaica considered were good, the coaches called it like a cow pasture. So in the Northeast, out of necessity, we have lots of turf fields. In Portugal, there's a turf field in every community. And I get it, it's different economics, but I said there's no reason why we couldn't have a few. So one of our long-term goals are to build a series of turf fields across the island. So you could make these goals, but how do you finance, right? So what I've done, I've spoken to quite a few turf companies here, both here and across the world, worked out the best prices possible. Pretty much try to knock all the costs down to say, okay, here's what our model is. We could build a turf field and it's going to be X. Whereas in America, it might be, 600,000, 750,000 for a turf field. We could possibly build it for 200,000 in Jamaica or 175,000, which is roughly a quarter of the cost. So we've identified a few locations, where we're going to put in mini pitches. One being Barbican, and then we have land in Portmore. But obviously, we had a plan, a 3-5-year plan on how we're going to roll this out. But given the pandemic, which has caused everyone to rethink their business plans and whatever your cap spending, we have to now go back and think about how best to do those, to roll these things out. Because they're absolute necessities if we want to compete. And I do sincerely believe that we can actually be a world power if we actually put resources behind our kids and the coaches and the game itself in Jamaica. So we have a plan. We have architectural drawings. We have our costings. What I was trying to find was localized financing. Learned quickly that banks in Jamaica don't lend money unless you have a lot of money. And when you have a lot of money, they still don't want to lend to you. So still working on that. I'm just trying to see what this virus is doing and how and then plan accordingly.
Okay.
But we have a plan.
Okay. Thanks. Benson, sorry.
So we're talking to Errol Phillips. I mean, sorry, not Errol, sorry. Emelio Williams, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the chat. But talk to Emelio Williams, Representative Valeo FC, the president of Valeo FC. And Errol Phillips is talking on Flow Sports, and we're talking about, he's saying that pay for play is destroying soccer in America. So he kind of gave a different perspective compared to what you were saying, Emelio, where when we're talking about the struggles that was faced as a community, we're talking from a Jamaican perspective, but you also have the American struggle as well. But my question to you now is, seeing that your experience in the college game, being to 4 straight Final Fours, having 2 NCAA championships, if there's anybody out there that can talk about college football and what college soccer and what it takes to be a successful player in the United States system. Granted, the game has changed over the years, but you definitely should be able to tell a young footballer that is coming up right now what is required. And that is something that we talk about ad nauseum here on this show. We talk about the high school football in Jamaica, and as soon as the player graduates from high school, that's it. We don't hear from him again. It don't get the opportunity. I want to give you an opportunity right now, Mr. Emelio, to talk to that young footballer, that high schooler, that 11th grader that is thinking big, saying that I want to get a scholarship and to play in the United States for a college team. what would you tell is the number one requirement for that Jamaican footballer looking to play in America?
Okay. So there's more than one requirement, right? First off, college football. College is an academic institution, so you got to have good grades. The NCAA makes it so. There are minimum requirements. So that's one. Two, getting into college here is very competitive. Everyone in the world, like wherever I travel, anywhere in the world, they want to come to America. They want to come to school in America. It's very expensive to go to school here. So if you to get a scholarship, a case in point, BU, BC, Northeastern, the schools around here, it's 75, Harvard, MIT, it's around $75,000 a year. That's US dollars to go to a school. So knowing that a 4-year education is going to be roughly 300,000 US dollars, it becomes very competitive. So for a player in Jamaica, one, make sure your grades are great, okay? Two, on the football side, I think in general, the game is too slow in Jamaica. When I say slow, I mean the players are fast, but tactically it's slow. The transitions are slow, the speed of play is slow, and that is because maybe it's, the heat, or maybe it's because the game, how we play the game, it's the game's a bit stretched and you have time and space. So part of playing in college, people may say, oh, it's easy, I take it for granted. All those players are super fit, super athletic. They may not make it in a professional European, in Europe, but they would be coming out of some European academy. Maybe it's a player that maybe have washed out or something. So I would say get your grades in order. Two, get your technical and tactical speed up. And three, the most important thing that a college coach recruits is actually character. Because you not only represent yourself or the team, you represent a university. If you think of a Yale or a Harvard or a Stanford or Duke, those universities are institutions that are hundreds of years old. So before a coach even says, hey, you're a great player, they're going to make sure that your character, that you're a team player, that you have leadership potential, that you're going to represent yourself and your community and your country well.
Gotcha. I'm going to throw this out there that at Valeo ST, you are preparing those 14, 15-year-olds for that job, right?
Absolutely. So Valeo, we were fortunate. We're a U.S. Soccer Development Academy. And what it is over the years, we put, roughly 12 players on the U.S. youth national team program. America is like 100 countries in one. So for a small academy or club in Boston that was never a football hotbed, we have numbers, but we don't have necessarily the talent like a New York City or Jersey or, like California. It's an accomplishment. So we were invited by the U.S. national team set up to be a development academy. We have since transitioned to be an MLS development academy. So over the few years, we have about 60 or 70 kids that have gone on to play for the Revolution Academy, Kansas City, Sporting Lisbon, and Belenese, a bunch of different pro academies, both here, MLS here in the U.S. and also in Europe. Anyways, I say all this to say that we work backwards. We know what the requirements are to be a good professional, what the requirements are to be a good collegiate player, and we start the process early with our kids, being disciplined, being organized, learning the game, being a student of the game, and to be honest, before football, what we try to teach is life skills, commitment and hard work, the things that are going to matter to you, whether you're a professional footballer or a, actuary or a CEO of a bank.
Yeah. So we're talking to President, CEO of Valeo FC, Mr. Emelio Williams, joining us today on Ball Chat Podcast. Football family, I see your questions, I see your comments coming in. Big up yourself, Sean White. Big up yourself, Errol Phillips. Junior, did you have any more questions? You have other questions coming in.
sorry to probably give a long-winded question, or questions may require a long answer. But in your ideal situation, and we are primarily representing the Caribbean and primarily Jamaica. In your ideal situation, you did reference the pandemic, and you don't know what the virus is going to do. But if Emelio Williams could do something right now to make Jamaican football a lot better, you referenced that the potential is there. What is it? Give me the first 2 steps that you would take to help get our football program to where you think it can be potentially.
Okay. So a couple of things. One is invest heavily in coaching education. They are the gatekeepers of tomorrow. 2, focus on youth. All right. Study what they're doing in Germany, in the German academies, what they're doing in the Brazilian academies. And then 3, set out to build a few quality pitches that is accessible by the masses. So coaching, and then invest in a proper youth league, not one that goes for 4 or 6 weeks. That's not a league. That's like a tournament. A league that is similar to how you play in Europe for the 9 months. You train 4 days in the week, and then you come and play on the weekend. And so that's what I would do. So coaching development, probably need some club development to provide the administration for some of these youth club and academy development. League development, because you need that competitive platform. And then infrastructure development, which are like the facilities.
Yeah, so we're talking to good stuff. We're talking to Emelio Williams, President and CEO of Valeo FC. I have a couple questions coming in from listeners chiming in. Emelio, we know that the Valeo FC formed a partnership with Cassava last year. I think it's a multi-year partnership. You guys what are the major readout for such a partnership? And essentially, it's early days yet, but how is that partnership going?
So the major point of the partnership is that we would provide, obviously some player development with a focus on just developing our players. From that, with that as the mission statement, we are working on developing seminars for coaches. So we have a program for coaching development. We also have a program. If it wasn't for COVID, we would have launched the Cassava Youth Super League, which would have attempted to mirror what they do in Europe or even the US. You start without competing. So start at 9, 11, 13, 15, and after Manning Cup is done, 17 and 19. So that our partnership is developing the competitive platform, which is what we spoke about, and then developing the training platform, which would be the provision of not just lesson plans, but curriculums and teaching, bringing in coaches to teach our coaches. So, we have a few coaches from both from UEFA and from the US that were scheduled to come to the island. This would have been this summer and fall, but obviously with COVID, it put those plans, on pause. And so from that partnership, we have been forming partnerships with other other confeds or other like-minded academies across the world that can actually lend support to what we're doing.
Okay.
So for this year, our big thing would have been just to start the leagues.
Okay.
And then the training platform.
And training. And also one of the curious thing, personally, I'm a countryman myself. Cassava is essentially, focused on Kingston football, Kingston and St. Andrew football. Is there any plan afoot? Or are you trying to build similar relationships with club in the other parts of the island to facilitate this sort of growth and development?
Yeah. So the plan is not a Cassava plan that we had. It's a Jamaica plan. Right?
Okay. Okay.
that is a youth plan, youth development plan, and a football development plan to be, more specific. So, but you have to start somewhere.
Okay.
And do a pilot. And we did a pilot of a league last year. It was 6 weeks. We did it at Water Commission Field. Invited 8 clubs, academies. We had Portmore from St. Catherine. They're not Cassava. They came. Edgewater from St. Catherine. We invited Chappleton Maroons, and they're from Clarendon.
Yeah.
So what the goal is really was to pilot the league this fall, and then for 2021 we'd look to expand it to 1 or 2 other confeds. Spoke briefly to I think Danny Beckford in St. Anne, I don't know St. Anne man.
Yeah.
To do something similar. They're on board. Spoke some people out west in Westmoreland FA. They're on board. But like I said, when you start to try to roll out a league and a training platform, even getting people familiar with the technology or the software, because you want to make it accessible, so everything would be done through the mobile phone.
Yes.
So had a couple partnerships with software companies that are here locally to develop a platform for us, and a clothing company, a sportswear company that's new to sponsor, to come in as a sponsor for the league. So Cassava is just the pilot, but you want to get work things out, and then we can actually roll it out, because we want to be inclusive as much as possible. As
much as possible. Football family, we're speaking to Emelio Williams, President and CEO of Valeo FC, about the youth development, the work that they're doing. We're going to segue to other parts of the show in a few minutes, but a couple final questions from me, Emelio, and a couple final questions from listeners coming through here. Valeo FC, if I'm not mistaken, has a senior team that's in the NPSL. Is that an accurate statement? At least recently got admitted in the NPSL. And what is that like for you guys in terms of transitioning the I guess is the men's team into that sort of league?
So this year would have been our first year in the NPSL. Actually, not a true statement, because we ran the Lowell franchise of NPSL, but it didn't belong to us. It was another person that we ran it for them. But we just decided to get our own franchise this year. The purpose really is to showcase some of the younger kids and to provide an outlet for players in the Caribbean. Because when we ran the Lowell last year, we had 4 players from Jamaica that came up and played. So we are using the NPSL as a platform to showcase our players and to prepare our players that want to make the next step to Europe or to play in the collegiate game. The emphasis on the NPSL is youth. So anyone in Jamaica and I was there a boatload of times in the past few years looking at players to bring up. That we would have invited, but we were looking to have at least 6 to 8 players from Jamaica, maybe 12 from Jamaica that would play in the league, that could make the jump to the next. That need a little bit of polish, a little bit of professionalism. That could make the jump either to Europe, or they could stay locally and play in the A League here.
Okay, good stuff. All right, football family. One more question. Wow, the people am running with them question. You mentioned that the league that you were looking to put together for Cassava, the youth level, was planned previously scheduled to start in the fall, but of course of COVID, things got pushed back. Do we have any idea when potentially we might start? And the initial contract with Cassava pilot program, to my understanding, has a multi-year. Does the fact that COVID now affects that contract push those years back or extend those years in that contract?
Well, a contract. Contracts are legal documents.
Yes.
My commitment to football and kids in Jamaica is lifetime, right? Yeah. That's what gave me my start. That's my commitment.
Yes.
So as far as Cassava does, we've been working during these COVID times trying to lay the infrastructure. But we're literally waiting on up to this week when the JFF when football returns, So we've been on pause. We've got everything there. Built our website, have a few teams that are starting. But we're waiting on JFF, who I guess is waiting on the Ministry of Health to provide a return to play document and guidelines.
Yes.
So we're in a holding pattern. Like I said, COVID is holding everything or everyone hostage. So we're in a holding pattern.
Yes. Good stuff. Really good stuff. Yeah. All right, football family. If you have more questions for Emelio, send them on. We'll ask him throughout the show. But we'll segue to ballers and bugs, highlighting ballers and bugs. Ballers being impressive players of the week. And we invited Emelio not just to discuss his work with Valeo FC, but also, gets his thoughts on the landscape of football and some of the major news in the world of football, because he's a fan of the sport himself. I don't know if he's a Liverpool fan or not. But Emelio, you're the guest joining us today. Watching football this week, who do you have as your ball of the week? Baller being the impressive player of the week.
I'd say, what's the flank player, the left back for Bayern, the young kid?
Alphonso Davies.
Yeah. He's, I know. I hear the laughter.
Yeah, but he got salad today.
I saw that. But he has had an impressive campaign. He said he's going to shut down Messi.
This is
that's
true.
What the CEO of Bayern, Karl-Heinz, whatever, Rummenigge said.
Yes.
And he shut down, pick up a one salad.
Yes.
But his pace and just ability to get forward just makes him, and Lewandowski is a problem.
Yes.
A real problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those are your ballers of the week. Alphonso Davies, a left-back Canadian international. Alphonso Davies and Robert Lewandowski, Bayern Munich ballers. They won the Champions League. We'll get to that in a segment. Emelio's ballers of the week. Come on, you're the fancy one. Who do you have as your ball of the week? Come on, watching football.
I am the fancy one. De Jong for Sevilla for scoring a brace. He's a baller for me. I have to mention Kingsley Coman because, of course, he scored that good header versus PSG. The oil money team. I mean, like, the oil man must be crying, in his oil, because he spent all that money just not to win, the Champions League, playing against players from the Farmers League, quote unquote. Also, I have to shout out Alphonso Davies. That's what they said. Bayern, they said that the Bundesliga is Farmers League. I mean, like, it's too.
Right.
So Alphonso Davies, I have to give him a shout out. Even though today he didn't have a good game today, but for the entire campaign he was actually very, very
ballers
good.
of the week. Come on.
Yeah. So I'm giving him ballers, man. That's special. And Lewandowski. All right then. So my baller is De Jong, right?
Yes.
The honorable mentions are Coman, Davis, and Lewandowski.
Honorable mention, Dion scored as Sevilla won the Europa League, and honorable mention, Kingsley Coman. Kingsley Coman came through PSG's youth system and now champions of Europe with Bayern Munich. Junior, I know you're a Manchester United fan. It's hard to find a ball of the week, but who do you have, Virgin?
How could it not be Diego Carlos? How could it not be Sevilla's Diego Carlos? I mean, he gave away the penalty against Manchester United, gave away the penalty against Lukaku in the final, and came and scored the goal. But Lukaku really wants to create history, so he wants to score on both sides of the game. So he took the ball away from him and scored. But fun and joke aside, Diego Carlos and also Alphonso Davies. Unlike you guys, I think Alphonso Davies had a very good game today. And I'm going to tell you why. He got an early yellow card, and it didn't slow him down. A young player, a rookie, just started playing in October. We see what happened to Brandon Williams when he got his
hold
yellow
on a second. Is a rookie where? Rookie, how is he a rookie? This is 60 years. How is Alphonso Davies a rookie?
Come on.
Playing 18?
playing big league football.
No,
Yeah.
no, no, don't
No,
do it.
but seriously though, and let's call a spade a spade. Messi wanted nothing to do with Alphonso
Oh
Davies.
God, here we go.
Thank you.
Mbappe, hold on.
Thank you. Thank
Mbappe
you.
wanted nothing to do with Alphonso Davies. Neymar
Thank you.
wanted nothing to do with Alphonso Davies. They put poor Di Maria over there, and he felt sorry for Di Maria and gave him a one salad, and then sent him going away. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So we have seen a young baller that started out as a winger, transitioned into playing left back, and is shutting down a whole side of a field in Champions League at this age.
Facts.
Junior's ball of the week is the Carlos and Junior. It seems like you're lighting a fire on Lukaku. I envision he'll be your bug of the week.
Lord, just wait.
And also he's also given a ball of the week to Alphonso Davies, shutting down the left side of the field, even though he got his salad bust. But overall, an impressive play, just like Hamon and Emelio, our Valeo FC guest, also agreed about Alphonso Davies' impressive play. Had a sensational tournament. My ball of the week, I got to big up to Thiago Alcantara. Thiago Alcantara may not be at Bayern Munich much longer, but Thiago Alcantara came out of the Barcelona youth system. What a player. The way he marshaled that midfield for Bayern Munich. Now, Champions League winner. Big up yourself, Thiago Alcantara. Sensational footballer. He made the game look so easy. And also big up to David Alba. You know, the way he has really moved himself from playing left back into that midfield, into that middle of that defense, and also being instrumental in Bayern Munich picking up that victory after Jerome Boateng went down. So those are the ballers of the week, football family. Sean White, big up yourself. Sean White says his ball of the week. Who do you have? We're not at bugs yet, Sean. We're not at bugs yet. No, to segue from a ball of the week for Sean is Bayern's keeper Manuel Neuer. Manuel Neuer had some good saves, or maybe PSG throw away the game. Emelio, you're the guest of the week. Who do you have as your bug of the week? Bug being the unimpressive player of the week.
Well, I don't have one.
You don't have a bug of the week. Watch out. Come on, that means you get multiple bugs of the week.
I'm glad to take part.
Wait, come on. I think Emilia is being political, not highlighting any bug, you know.
Yeah, real.
But come on. Yes, who do you have as your bug of the week? Come on.
Lukaku, of course. Completely, it has to be Lukaku, because this is my thing. He had the perfect opportunity to make the game 3-1. One-on-one with the keeper. Anywhere but at the keeper, but yet he kicked it to the keeper and then go back down to the other side, and that ball was going nowhere near goal. It wasn't going in, right? And he decided to stick his foot out, lazy defending. I don't know what I'm having at the box. Lazy defending and created that own goal. I mean, I felt it for him, but he's not my player. I mean, Chelsea dumped him long time, so I'm like, whatever. But he did not even come out for the medal. He, as soon as the whistle was blown, he disappeared. I felt a little bit bad for him, just a little bit, but he went away after 10 minutes. But that own goal was, that man never sleep for the rest of the week. It was madness. So Lukaku, I don't want to give anybody else. I don't even want to give PSG and Mbappe and the miss today. I want to give it to Lukaku squarely on his head and shoulders. Take it away, Junior, because I know you're backing me up.
Yeah, Junior, come on, bug of the week is Lukaku, and then, come on, you don't know Junior was planning to have Lukaku as bug of the week. Why do you first him on? Big up Sean White, so his bug of the week is Harry Maguire. Sean, he's not playing football this week. Come on, why is he bug of the week? Junior, but who do you have as your bug of the week, boss?
Look, Lukaku is definitely one of the bugs for sure. But come on, you beat Lukaku enough. I won't beat him anymore. Barcelona, your hierarchy is infested with bugs. MLS, you are infested with bugs for playing politics with football.
Facts.
Every sport is saying, yo, no fans. But MLS seems to they want to they want this Republican love, they want this Republican money because the majority of their teams are the better teams play in predominantly the Republican states. So what are they doing? Oh, let's bring in fans. We have an expansion team in Nashville. Hey, let's bring in fans. So what's going to happen when you have a coronavirus outbreak? Which is bound to happen. We see it in MLB, and all the players are doing are taking planes. But you want to bring in fans into the stadium. Bugs of the week. Oh, but Barcelona, Randall Koeman, welcome home. You can still coach the Netherlands. I don't know. You want to bring in the pay, blah, blah, blah.
Junior, and we'll get to the Barcelona hire of Ronald Koeman in a second. But Junior's bug of the week, he's not going to beat Lukaku because Camon already did. He's beaten the MLS, putting politics into football, or aka soccer, and Barcelona hierarchy. Gosh, what a people them stupid. But we'll get to that in a second. Errol Phillips, pick up yourself watching on Floor Sport. Errol Phillips says Thiago is on his way to Liverpool.
I did call that.
Errol Phillips, rally up in the money. Rally up in the money, Liverpool.
I rumor the one early, man.
Rumors. Rally up in the money. But let's quickly discuss the Champions League final.
One to your Bob. You always conveniently skip over, but who's there, Bob?
I don't want to. It's PSG. PSG is my bug of the week. I mean, yes, they it's the first final. I thought Neymar explicitly and Mbappe, they weren't ready for the video light. They're highly paid, highly compensated footballers. This was their time to shine. Mbappe, you got to score some of those chances. Got to score from 8 yards out, unmarked. Come on, put the ball in the back of the net. So PSG got my bug of the week, and mainly because I picked them to win the Champions League. But come on, big side PSG. You wet the bed at the wrong time. So let's quickly talk about the Champions League final. Junior and come on, and Emelio Williams of Valeo FC joining us. Quick takeaway. I mean, a lot of us expected Bayern Munich to win. They were the favorites going in. But your thoughts on the final overall? Did it meet your standard in terms of a good game? Emelio.
I think it was okay. It was a little bit tense. It wasn't as exciting as I hoped it would be. Bayern just did what Bayern does. They're consistent, and that's why they're champions. But yeah, it was a decent game.
Yeah,
could use a little bit more fun.
You could use them. And what about for you guys, Junior and come on, your thoughts on the game and some of the big things that really transpired in that game? Come on.
The game, for me, the game was okay. I think it was even killed. But for like maybe 3 minutes before halftime, we had end chances. So that kind of, had people sitting on the end of their seats. Because I know I was sitting on the end of my seat, looking at the chances. Mbappe missed a couple. I think Neymar was doing a little bit too much. I think if, a little bit selfish. I cannot get over Neymar and the diving and the rolling. I'm like, he takes away from the game. It takes away from his ability. And I just think when he does all those things, the first thing that comes to my mind is Neymar is that a cheat. I mean, you're a foul, take the foul, get up, but you're rolling, you put your hand over your face. Every time he does that, he reminds me of Didier Drogba when he was on the ground, crying for a foul, beating the ground, and when he thought no one was looking, he peeked through his fingers. Every time Neymar does something, I am reminded of. So, when Neymar takes away from the fact that he's a very good player by trying to cheat the referees and trying to cheat the system in itself. It could have been, maybe a little bit more of a goal fest if PSG had, actually scored the goals that they had the opportunity to score. So I think Bayern was the better team in terms of keeping their shape and actually executing the game plan. At one point I thought PSG was a little bit frantic and they weren't keeping their shape. So Bayern, I think they deserved the win.
Yeah, well coached Bayern Munich. Hans Flick, once an interim, now the man will be in charge. Junior, your big takeaway from that final, boss.
Emilio, I know you're the coach. I know you have the license. I only have a driver's license, all right? But
Yeah.
I play FIFA. And I think a PS4 player, today, Thomas Tuchel showed why a lot of people wanted him gone from last year. Because we were talking in our group chat for the first 20 minutes or so. Thiago Alcantara was a baller going forward, but he was getting stretched.
Yeah.
For some reason, PSG went away from the middle of the field. For some reason, when Alphonso Davies got the yellow card, PSG refused to run at him. That game to me showed me the difference between a team that is being led by the players versus a team that is led by a coach.
Very good point.
That's the only difference in the game. That's my big takeaway. I never see PSG making another step forward or going up another gear, because it just seems like a bunch of players that going forward, we're just going to do our thing. We are allowed to play how we want to play. We can go anywhere we want on the field. While with Bayern, they had moments where them say, PSG is rocking back, let's press them. And they pressed them to death. The second Thiago Silva made a long pass to Mbappe that got through.
Yeah.
Bayern instantly stopped the press.
Yeah.
If we remember, they instantly said, all right, let us not stretch our defense now.
Yeah.
For some reason, Alaba and my boy Boateng.
Yeah.
We saw what Messi did to Boateng 2 years ago. He's now 2 years older. And you would never once try to isolate your big speed ballers against him. Come on, man.
Yeah. I thought Thomas Tuchel with the bet, but for PSG it's a project. This is their first Champions League final, the sixth title for Bayern Munich. Really a juggernaut since the return. They were also a juggernaut prior to return, a really big side. Hans Flick has done a wonderful job. But I wanted to ask you guys, in terms of Icardi, PSG went out and got him to be that center forward sort of guy to help them offset. I mean, yes, he didn't score a gang of goals. Did you think this game needed an Icardi down the middle for PSG rather than an Neymar and Mbappe interchanging at times down the middle? Emelio, your thoughts?
I think so. I think what happens is, to your earlier point, Neymar wants to dictate the pace and run the show, but he's not Xavi. He's not Thiago. He slows the games down and all the acting. He literally slows his team down. So at times you need a nine. You could push Mbappe out, wider if you need be, take off Di Maria, and put a traditional nine and really stretch, open up Bayern. But then you run the risk of being opened up yourself. So you have to think about the counterattack. But as you said, the minute Bayern was pressing, the minute Thiago's played a couple long balls, then you ease up on the press, because no one wants to be left open with like a Mbappe running at you, or even Neymar. So yeah, the game needed something different, and I think he could have been the difference maker.
Yeah.
I think that was the players leading the team, because if you put an Icardi, if you put a Statue of Liberty up front, that is going to take away from the space that Neymar and Mbappe likes to run into.
Yeah.
So now you're risking the chance of your superstar players not being comfortable. But what are we playing for? Are we playing to make your two high prize commodities happy? Or are we playing to win the game? Because Icardi would have been a big difference. Icardi would have made Boateng and Alaba at least respect the space.
Yeah.
All they were doing were just play zone defense, read the ball. We know you cannot run down Mbappe and Neymar. Just hold the space. We'll have Davies and we'll have Kimmich on the other side. They will force them to run, and you just play zone. And the zone man. It was just comedic at times.
Come on, your thoughts on that?
Listen, it was baffling today. I think his subs were actually poor. I would not have taken off Di Maria. I mean, I thought that Di Maria was one of the best players on the pitch, and we all know that we all know what he can actually bring to the game. Sometimes in sleepwalk, but this is the finals. You don't have an away game for the player for make up. I mean, it's like all hands on deck. You pay how much million for this man and you have the card sitting on the bed? Come on, man. If you lose him work, yes, if you lose him work, expect to see him losing work.
All right, speaking of losing work and managers changing seat, but Bayern Munich, we'll shift to Barcelona here in a second. But Bayern Munich.
Sorry. You know who the real winner is in this?
Yes.
Coutinho. Coutinho will be laughing all the way to the bank.
Yes.
Because he is supposed to get €5 million just for winning with Bayern Munich. And laugh all the way to the bank.
And doesn't Barcelona also need to pay additional money to Liverpool for that Felipe Coutinho transfer because of the victory, because of him winning the
so right. Let's check the chat real quick. Errol Phillips saying the midfield of PSG was non-existent. He also said that only one ball Neymar picked up in the final third, second half. Everything else was in the defensive half. Sean said that it was an okay game, not the best finals. PSG did surprise me, however. I thought they would have been beaten hands down, but if they had scored at least one of those chances, it would have been different. Errol also said Icardi have been playing crap. Michael Garden, just give you guys a quick thing here. Michael Garden said, please let us know what you think of Junior Flemings with his upward mobility from USL. Does Jamaica keep up with the last crop of under 23 players? And Alphonso Davies had a whirl of a game in the final. Michael Garden no football. He said Alphonso Davies had a whirl of a game.
And we'll get to Jamaican football here in a second, and address that question. Let Emelio address that question about the under 23 players. At least give his opinion on that in a second. But Bayern Munich won a big them up 6 title. Alphonso Davies become the most recent CONCACAF player to win a Champions League title. Last was Keylor Navas with Real Madrid. So Alphonso Davies doing big things. Last time Bayern Munich won a Champions League title was 2013. So to segue from the Champions League final, and also we want to big up Junior Flemings. Come on, he scored again, so we have to give him.
We don't reach Yawd ballas.
Yeah, we don't reach Yawd, but we want to big up Junior Flemings.
Mikey, we don't reach your segment yet, sir.
Yeah. So we'll get to that in a second. All right, so continue our discussions on some of the major news in the world of football. Barcelona hired Ronald Koeman, former Dutch coach. Man take over the seat, former Everton coach, former Southampton coach. Emelio, your thoughts on this? I mean, some of us, both our Barcelona fans, are not too happy about this.
Well, but before Emelio answer, he has to tell us which team he support.
Liverpool, man.
Oh, Liverpool. All right, go ahead.
Oh my gosh, why?
Beat them.
No, but hold on. Let me preface. I was a massive fan of Pep Guardiola's Barcelona. And for many years, that's how our teams aspired to play. So, with that being said, I want to say I do have a soft spot for Barcelona. So I'm year 2. That's how I go on. Well, I already knew that the coach was fired.
Yeah.
And the president would lose the election because you just can't have that. So as far as Ronald Koeman, you're going back in the archives. So I would. That's a tough job because it's political, and I'm not sure if that's going to help, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I'm not sure one bit if that's going to help. They're going to have to pull a Real Madrid and start buying everybody, which will break the bank. And so yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sold. I'm definitely not sold. I don't think it's a good move.
Buying everybody, how is that different from last? I mean, weren't they buying everybody?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying is that they're going to have to. That's the Real Madrid model, right? Barcelona, were developing from internal. It means you had intimate knowledge of their philosophy and fully embrace that. When you start to go outside of that, then the only way that you're going to keep pace with the other major players in European football is to spend real money. And you're competing against, like PSG, where it's a country that owns a team, a sovereign nation, or the oil teams. Yeah, and it's not a cooking oil money.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I don't think that's going to help at all. I think it's not a sexy hire.
Yeah, it's not a sexy hire. Come on, you bleed Barcelona through and through. Ronald Koeman said that this was one of his dream jobs. He's been yearning or chomping at the bit to get back to the new camp. Are you excited about the move to hire the man from the past, Ronald Koeman, who scored in that Europa final in '92 for them? Your thoughts?
You know you're an Arsenal fan. You like history. you like history. Listen to me. I understand that we are saying that the coach might look clueless, but we all agree that the problem is actually the players. We rely heavily on Messi when the other positions need good players. Koeman is a good coach. I'm not going to say that he's not a good coach and he would be a great addition.
Come on, is this the Everton Koeman, Dutch Koeman, or Southampton Koeman? Which one you guys getting?
What's the difference?
The Netherlands Koeman. That's who we're getting. So they're trying to go back now. I think they said that it works with Zidane. I think they said that Zidane loves the club. They're good enough footballer. So they're trying to see if Koeman loves the club enough and is a good enough footballer. How I know we're in trouble when he's saying that we are going to scrap the players, we are going to look deeply in the roster and get rid of some of these players. My biggest concern is to keep Messi. No, sir. Your biggest concern is to make sure that you have pieces that can fit on the field. PK should never come back to camp now. I'm supposed to send Shakira to go clean out him locker. We don't want to see him back. PK needs to study. And then when I see Koeman say that Griezmann, he needs to be played in his natural position. What exactly is that? Him not good like that? So he's talking about he's going to be the second striker. Look here, man. It's like this man, my head start hurt me already. I am concerned that they're so into getting a good or a name brand coach that they're overseeing the fact that we need good players on the pitch.
Hold on, whoa.
Junior.
Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
That is an oxymoron. They're so into getting a name brand coach that they hire Ronald Koeman.
Yes, that doesn't make no sense.
Because they're saying that Koeman needs to play for the club. He loves the club. He plays for Netherlands.
Okay.
He score one goal. Junior, at this point, I don't know the thing. You know, like you can see a club and see the philosophy. You can see why they're doing things. With Barcelona, is a complete opposite. We talk about this. When we see them go get Malcolm, no, let me even touch Malcolm. Brathwaite, when we see them go and get Prince both, you're like, what is going on right here? Where did Prince? It's absolutely ridiculous when we hinge hinge Barcelona on aging players. Because we talk about this, the players are aging and we're depending on that. We bring Frankie in and he's not been playing his natural position. He's playing other position. You know, you could have Coutinho, you get rid of Coutinho. For what? Vidal is not the Vidal of past, and I don't think he is good enough to be considered a part of the top three. Him not MSV. I not agree with that. Him not Messi, Suarez, and Vidal. I don't like it. And Barcelona is stressing me out, and I don't know if I'm going to buy the new kit. I'm looking at it. I might be a Real Madrid fan next season.
Come on. You see all that feeling that you have, all that energy that you have, buckle that energy. And when you talk about name brand coach, Allegri, this is whatever name from back. Click. Yo, Tata Martino, we don't know if Mexico going to play any kind of click. Real name brand coaches had those same sentiments we talking about right now, and them say, oh, hell to the no. Hey, come on, you're a Barcelona guy, blah, blah, blah. Would you like to help us get back to prominence? Because we'll have a two-team league, and you're going to win 80% of your games. Anyway, you just have to find a way to win Classical. Yeah, I'll try it out.
Try it out. Right now, I take Klinsmann. At this point, I'm like, you know, who better take when the New England Revolution do name again? With the American man name again? Oh my God, the tip on my tongue.
What?
When name, but them always draw for when US got problem and then they want to
Bruce Arena. Bruce Arena.
Bruce Arena. Right now, I take Bruce.
Okay, step away from the glue, come on. Step away from the glue or stop drinking. Come on.
And big up Errol Phillips. Errol say he will help Shakira. So, come on.
You know, but football lovers, we're discussing Ronald Koeman got hired as the manager of Barcelona. It's a contract that runs all the way to 2022. There were pending elections. Elections should occur in the spring or summer of next year. So ultimately, there are those in the club who think, or those around the Barcelona circle who believe that if a new president gets elected, a new president will get elected at Barcelona Football Club. So Ronald Koeman might be out on the door. Former manager Luis Enrique says Barcelona is going through a rough time. He doesn't know when they will win those major trophies again. That's the $1 million question. So Barcelona, Ronald Koeman in charge. Segueing from Barcelona and other major news this week from the Barcelona hire, CONCACAF released the schedule for the World Cup qualifiers for 2022. Jamaica schedule roll out, Mexico first. Big takeaway, I know it's early days. Emelio, you saw the schedule, I think, or did you see the schedule and your thoughts on that schedule that released? And just to kind of give football fans, it's not a hex anymore. It will be 8 teams. Top 3 goes through to the World Cup. The 4th place, Jamaica got a bye for the first 2 rounds, all the way into the 8-team tournament. Emelio, your thoughts on that schedule released by CONCACAF?
I mean, we know that we're gonna have to play the 8 games, whether you play Mexico at the first or the last. Some coaches would rather have like an easy game up front, but you want to test yourself and see where you are. So hopefully the staff does a good job of prepping everyone for like a Mexico, so you could find out what your weaknesses are in the squad and make the adjustments going forward. But it should be a good test.
Come on, Michael Garden following us on Flow Sports. I remember Ball Chat family. It's a final episode of the season, so we're going a little bit longer, and we started a little bit late also because of the Champions League final. Come on, Michael Garden on Flow Sports says that Alvas Powell will have a warm time against Alphonso Davis when Jamaica. Envision if Canada does make it that far.
Okay, Mikey, I see you.
If Canada does,
Alvas will have a warm time against him if he's played in his position. And on top of that, Alvas was not in his squad, not even the 20. He's not injured. So let's say Alvas might not even be on the pitch to have a warm time against Alphonso Davis.
Yeah. But your thoughts on the schedule, come on. And we know JFF is still releasing the schedule, but your thoughts on the schedule.
Hey, this is how I know that the JFF is not prepared. So they had the drawing. So yes, people, I was working, I was on a conference call or whatever. I was looking to see JFF post it. Everybody else, every nation, every other nation was following the drawing. Why is it JFF was not? Them not post nothing about it on Twitter. Them never show it. So it's like, so you're not interested. Anywho, I am so worried because US, they're excited about the October game in Colorado. Like, okay, why is it Colorado? Hopefully in a cold in October when Jamaica plays against USA. So that's a disadvantage for us right there. People are talking about some of the Jamaican players are used to cold weather. One to the one them when are used to it. So that to me is a disadvantage right there, so. And I am actually worried about playing Mexico. I know the JFF trying to get more players to come in, but they have not been successful. So are we going to see the same outfit of Tapa trying to incorporate local players? And this is the thing to remember: they have not played any football for a very long time. And I do see where the JFF says they're going to have a camp in September. But I'm like, with COVID on the rise, I mean, are we going to be prepared? Are we going to be okay? So I am a tad bit worried about the format, and I think I'm worried about our chances.
Yeah, but you're always worried still. Come on. You're always worried.
I'm extra worried now.
All right. So, Junior, you saw the schedule. Jamaica doesn't kick off until 2021, June 2021. Quick takeaway, Junior, is early days. And what do you think that we need to do between now and then?
I remember the last World Cup cycle, Jamaica kicked off against Mexico as well. When Winnie brought in the one bag of unfamiliar players. And we went to the Aztec and drew 0-0. Should have won that game, right? Granted, it's not the same Mexico team. Granted, it's not the same Jamaica team. Granted, Tata Martino have Mexico firing at all cylinders. But pound for pound, man for man, Mexico will always have an issue against a Jamaican type team. So I'm not really worried about the product on the field, to be honest with you. And just to crack a joke,
What a man like?
No, I'm dead serious. But just to crack a joke though, if you give me enough money, I will fly to Manchester for on JFF's regards, and I will talk to Mason Greenwood and say, Mason, your grandmother, grandauntie, or whatever that JFF is putting out, saying that we're going to extend an invitation to Mason Greenwood to play for Jamaica, and he will have Alphonso Davies in his back pocket. So that is what the JFF is trying to put out there. That is my concern. My concern is, what is the legit group of players that we are looking at? Legit group of players.
Okay, not just hopeful.
This player can fit this system. Let's go play some football. Yeah. That is my concern right now for the world.
And quickly, I know this was speculative out there, but do we expect Tapa Whitmore to lead this team into this World Cup qualifier?
Tapa who?
Of course.
Yes.
Even when we saw the news thing, we said another coach coming in or whatever, I expect Tapa to be there. Number one, they don't have the money to get a good a Tata in. I'm sorry, Tapa, if I said good. I meant you are good. But I just meant that they don't have the funds to go there. Well, they might can find the money, I don't know, but the mother said they don't have the money to get a good coach. So Tapa, is it?
So JFF did got some COVID relief funds from FIFA, and of course those funds are earmarked for certain parts of development, so money might get moved. But Emelio, do you expect Tapa Whitmore to be the man in charge of the Reggae Boys going into this qualifiers?
Yeah, I don't see anything that indicates that he wouldn't be the man. He's had some recent successes, whatever recent is. So I don't see anything else. Even though I did see an article in the Mirror that Eriksson, which was the Swedish coach that was coached England, was a Jamaican coach. Mm-hmm. But when I called around, I don't know if you guys saw that, it was fake news.
Oh, can't. That must be Eriksson.
Yeah.
But I think they tried to get him. I think it was 2011. I think he was. There was some connection. I think they were trying to get him back then. They can't afford him.
Can't afford him now.
No, expensive talent.
Yeah, and
but also I wanted to also mention this real quick, that FIFA is trying to shape a new rule to help players switch national team. So when you fly to England, go talk to Mason, you can mention this year. So the proposal gives hope to players who are eligible for multiple countries but fell out of favor with their first national team. So this will help a whole bunch of players to actually, move on to a team that
it's about time. That is long overdue. It's about time. About time. Finally, FIFA stepping up and doing something about some of these archaic rules. About time. And let's see if that will pass. You have any idea when?
September 18th.
September, hopefully. All right.
So Benton, come on. That mean Messi can change citizenship to Jamaica.
Okay.
No. Okay, hold on. So I think I left out the most important part, Junior, before you run with it. The new wording would let players switch eligibility if they played a maximum of 3 times for the first national team, including tournament qualifying games, before they turn 21 and at least 3 years earlier. So make it out of it. Take it out.
Okay. So there are some cap in terms of the number of games and the age group, but that rule needs to take some re-examination. Football family, we're pushing up against the clock, but we have to highlight Jamaican footballers, Jamaican players plying their trade overseas. Come on, Yawd, ballas. Junior Fleming scored again. What a man to score a goal.
Yeah, so Junior is actually on fire. So now Junior is 10 in 9. And I thought Junior could have actually had a hat trick if he was a very selfish player. He wanted to kind of distribute the ball more, so he ended up with 1 goal. Coach subbed him off. It was a wild game. They talk about USL referees all the time, and I think I saw it last night on both ends. Phoenix got a penalty that they shouldn't have gotten, and then Phoenix was leading 3-1 in the 90th minute with 4 minutes of stoppage time, and they actually scored 2 more goals to tie it up 3-3 in the 99th minute. So 4 minutes of stoppage time, and we end up reaching 99 minutes. But anyway, that was ridiculous. So Junior is on fire. Hopefully Junior can move from USL to even MLS right now, and then move on. So I think his dream is actually to play in Europe. He's doing really well. An article came out that says that Junior thought about everything that has happened to him in his life, and he worked on the parts that were not working for him. So he became a better person and a better player. So good to Junior. Junior, maybe if you come on the show next week, I'll be sending you a text because I'm going to stalk you from now until next week.
No, 2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks. So I'm going to stalk you between now and then, Junior. So Romario Williams is on 4 goals. Dan Kelly is on 4 goals. Nico Brett is on 3. Rashawn Daly is actually on 2. So Tapa really have a top-heavy squad. His strikers are actually scoring. His wingers are doing well. I think Tapa's main problem would be midfield. There we can, there's a Kevin Lambert who's doing really well at Phoenix too. So he is actually a defensive mid, but I also saw where he played central defender, and he was very, very good. So I think Tapa will have the players around him that he can choose from, or we can get a good squad to go through. Ravel Morrissey is now a free agent. Sheffield released him, and it's kind of weird because he was the poster boy. He was Alexis, what your guy name? Sir Alex, this guy. He thought he would be the best thing since sliced bread. So it's kind of disappointing that Ravel is kind of bouncing about, and Jamaica is still chasing him. Let him go to AFF. We don't need him. That's my update, Yawd ballers.
Last Yawd ballers for the football season, football family. Come on, someone on Island Sports Network says Canada Forbes. What's the update on Canada Forbes?
Canada Forbes, is still the leading, he's still the assist king in USL. And I think Canada's problem would be that he's a little bit on the old side. I mean, he's doing really well, but it is USL. Let us put everything in context. But he is still dishing on the assist. He's still playing well. He's Pittsburgh's captain. He's playing 90 minutes, even though he's up in age. But I do think that if Tapa wants to stop a gap, if he wants to get through qualification, I think Canada Forbes can actually help, because that's where we're hurting. We're hurting a midfield general, and I do see where Canada Forbes is actually a midfield general. Touching back on Alvarez, he was not even in the 20-man squad. He has not been featuring for his club, so I don't know if Alvarez is in trouble.
All right, there you go. Yeah, Junior.
Emelio, there's a question for you. Did Emelio play with Renwick Chief Hudson at Southern.
Yeah, I played in Renwick.
Okay. So
Yeah,
one
that era he played in Renwick, and it's all like in the ball in Renwick too.
You know what? No. Renwick was a forward, I think. I played back in the day, man.
Yeah.
He was young. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it, football family. President CEO of Valeo FC joined us today. Emelio Williams, thank you for taking the time. How can people get in touch with the academy? How can, if parents, we have a lot of parents that listen also to the show in the area, how can they reach out if they're interested in evaluating or taking a look at Valeo FC and what you guys have to offer?
Well, our website is valeofc.com, VALEOF as in football, C as in club.com. The website in Jamaica is valeofcjamaica.com. So outside of that, they could call the CASAFA offices, and we're at Barbican every Saturday, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays, training, COVID permitting. So we have a little spike, so I'm sure we'll be taking a little break. So, but yeah, so outside of that, the contact information is on the website.
Yeah, and you guys are also based in Boston, so listeners who are in the Boston area who's looking for a team for their kids, boy or girl. What about the girls program? Quickly.
So yes, we have a girls program in Boston. The show, we're looking to start one in Jamaica. Right now, we have a few girls that are training the boys. But is also with the league that I mentioned, we're also looking to start a girls league and working with the folks in CASAFA to kind of organize that. Karen and Jean Nelson, who you guys know.
Yes.
Organize that. So,
yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Football need love too.
Yeah, yes. Thank you for taking the time. Football family, it's the last ball chat for the football season. It's long. We went through pandemic, or we're still going through the pandemic, but we're there together. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Come on, get yourself ready now. What are going to do for the next 2 weeks? Junior,
actually, 3 weeks.
In 3 weeks, we'll get ready. Our next show will be what?
By the time we come off of the phone, I'm going to say 4.
Our next show will be right before the EPL season as that kicks off on September 12th. We'll do a preview show on September 9th. And MLS is still playing. The French League is going on. We'll update that on our social media platform. But the Champions League final is over. Bayern Munich's 6th title. So Ball Chat football season wraps up. If you want to connect with us on social media at Instagram at Ball Chat Podcast. We're on Twitter at Ball Chat 1. Ball Chat on Facebook. If you want to email us ballchatpodcast@gmail.com. Football family, stay safe. Down the road, you know.
Bless up. Emelio, bless up everybody.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me. Big up Ball Chat.
All right, respect.